Reset.
Okay, you're on.
Okay. Out of executive session, we'll get started with the report. I'm sorry, for the good of the cause. Do you have anything, Karen?
I didn't check. I'll check and I'll report the next one.
Okay. On to reports to the board. Budget status report, Dana.
Gotta unmute yourself, Dana.
And we don't hear anyone.
It's a silent meeting.
Sun's in his eye. Are you unmuted?
Am I unmuted? Am I unmuted?
Yes.
You are.
Okay.
Here, I can unmute him. Here, he's unmuted.
I can't
There he is.
I don't- see me.
Talk now.
That's odd. Usually I have the view. There we go. There I am. Okay. So budget status report. What you'll see here is for the end of May. If you're looking at it with the revenue, we got a difference from last year, about $47,000. Excuse me, $47,000 under budget, under favorable by $98,000. Total expenditures, though, when you're looking at it, that's favorable. Right now, we are from last year, we are underspending by $617,000. So even though revenue is a little below projection, our expenditures are well below projections. If you look at that with total revenue, 94.9% or 18.49 million compared to 97.3%. Difference of about $208,000. Biggest difference there you'll see is local sources, but our state sources are up, federal sources are up. We haven't done any interfund transfers. Again, the key there, for this, when you're looking at this status report, is really the expenditures. $15.3 million. We're under budget by, at this point, $1.19 million. So really, and that's even with personnel services, which is tied specifically to salaries. That's our salary codes of an increase of about $213,000. But you can see where the rest of are sitting in the negatives. So when you look at the projection, we're looking at basically projected differences, $981,000 between our revenue and our expenditures. So that's kind of where we sit with the end of May. Obviously, this month, we make our balloon payments to all the staff that get paid over 26 pays as opposed to a 10-month pay. And that just happened last week. So you'll see in June, we'll kind of catch all of that up, and our expenditures will change because of we've now paid everyone. Our last payday was June 12th. So it's it for the calendar year, the academic year. We won't begin anew until July 1st. But what you'll see that is, even with that projection, we're still looking at pretty healthy when it comes to our revenue versus expenditures. Questions on the budget status?
Your chart's really helpful, Dana.
Yeah.
The visual's great.
Thank you.
Yeah, I completely agree that this is the best view I've ever seen. Really good.
Yeah, it's awesome. All the color differentiations, and it's really helpful.
And going forward, it's one of the things that, and Roger and I briefly talked about it today, is particularly with budget stuff, is really we start looking at that budget today, for next year. And my hope is to start plotting projections out there. What would it look like now that we have, 2 contracts that have been ratified for the next 3 years? So we know some of the specifics now. and we can, I can share with you as the new academic year begins, just kind of giving you guys some scenarios as to what to look for. We're celebrating in the passing of this year's budget, and Roger and I were already talking about what next year's budget is going to look like. So, down the road, I would say by August or into September, I would be more than willing to share with you some projections. A little too early for the CPIU. However, we can throw out some projections and look at a tax levy of 2% and the known increases and say, where are we looking going forward, and start building some future trends and looking at, because as you can see, our projected expenditures are well below what they were last year, and rightfully so, because we put a freeze on, and two, with the shutdown, we weren't spending on transportation or on extra duty stuff. So, you'll see a significant savings, and hopefully in a month or so, my conversation to you guys will be, we have this abundance of surplus and where to put it for future use. And that will be part of that discussion, will be looking at future budgets and how do we plan for some economic uncertainty over the next couple of years.
Couldn't say that again.
Other questions on it? I know I gave you I gave you 2 pages. The second one is really just a color chart. I printed off another one. I ended up not sharing it, but it's basically the same information in a different format. Still playing around with it. And I know, Rick, last time you had asked about, kind of a trend beyond just the 12 months and stuff like that, just to kind of dig a little deeper back and, working on that as well. So that, again, I'm more than happy if you have specifics. I would be more than happy to explore and develop as much as I can any of these to show you. You ask, and I will try to find a way to give you some information that will answer those questions.
Thank you.
Any other questions on the budget status? If not, we'll go to the treasury report. Yeah.
Treasury report. The treasury report, you could see, again, we're still sitting in a very healthy money in the bank, $11 million at the end of May in our insured cash sweep. Again, that will be remarkably different next time I show you this in July, for a couple of reasons. One I've already explained in terms of finishing out all the salaries and all the balloon payments that happen for those that get those 5 extra paychecks all at once at the end of the school year. In addition, I think today we had almost $2 million go out with checks, all tied to the capital projects. Well, most of them tied to the capital projects. Almost $1.5 million just got paid on the capital projects. I guess that's expected since all the activity that's been going on for the last 6 weeks. Payments coming due. So you'll see in a month, one for over 600,000, one for over 500,000. And that's just, 2 different contractors. But looking at this treasury report, very healthy. You'll see all of our reserves have been, have not been, touched. That's by design. Had $424,000 in outstanding checks. And if you look at that again, BOCES is one of them. $237,000 is the BOCES payments. Other than that, it's kind of, hit and miss. Say Agnes is a $95,000 payments. That's still outstanding, but all said, again, our bank account is healthy.
Great.
Thank you.
Questions on the treasury report?
Thanks, Dana.
Superintendent's report.
All right. I thought I would maybe finish up on some of the important topics that we've been trying to address over the last few weeks and looking ahead for the next week or two. So I'll just share with you some news on a number of different items. The first one is summer school. So you might recall that last month the governor announced that in-person summer school would not be allowed and that only remote instruction could be implemented for the summer term. Well, that was overturned for one particular type of summer school, and that's the special education summer school, or what we call the extended school year. So that program is now allowed to meet in person. So, and we are busy developing plans for that program, and we expect to have a small group of students beginning summer school on July 6th, smaller than usual, and then a even smaller group of students participating through remote instruction. So that's a bit of a change, and that's part of all of the changes that occur with the executive orders that you're very familiar with. So that's where we are in summer school. There will be a handful of students participating in a general education summer school, but all of that will be done remotely. The second one is, well, the last big event of the year, which you're probably aware of, which is graduation. So, our plans for graduation also continue to evolve along with the guidance that has come out from the state. So recently, the governor announced that he would be allowing 150 person in-person graduation ceremonies as long as people are socially distanced. So we're revising our graduation plans, and that means we are planning to have all 44 graduates sitting outside in front of the stage for their graduation. And we are also working on a procession to bring them in, a socially distanced procession. There would be chairs around them that we would allocate for parents or family members. So every one of our graduates would have 2 chairs so that those close family members could also be outside and observe the graduation ceremony in that way. We would also continue with the drive-in approach by allowing cars to park behind the ceremony. Again, same as we had originally planned, 1 car per graduate with other members of their family so that they could also enjoy the graduation ceremony. And then there'll be a small group of people on the stage where, of course, again, we have to figure out how we are distributing diplomas. It won't be in the same way as we usually do. So we're still working out details, and guidance continues to change. We just received an updated version yesterday. So that's really just become a very expected part of all of this. So we'll have more information in the next couple of days, and certainly in the next week, because a week from Friday is the graduation ceremony with a rain date of Saturday. So that's where we are on graduation. In terms of employees, you probably know that all or most of our employees have been working from home or have been on call for when we need them. And that's typically, for example, the custodial staff. So we've also, starting this week, begun to make a change there also. So last Friday was the last day of school for students and for instructional staff. And that's, of course, most of our employees, but we still have 12-month employees who had been working from home or in a hybrid situation, who starting on Monday have come back full-time in person. So that's a change. And that's a couple of dozen employees who are now back in their offices or in their usual locations. So we've, of course, instituted some protective preventive measures that you would probably be able to anticipate as far as what they are. But I would say overall, people are happy to be back. And I think that this is the beginning, and it's just the beginning of a return in some ways to normalcy. So that's where we are in terms of our employees. In terms of reopening, however, we really don't have much news there at all. If you listen to the governor's daily briefing today, once again, no answer on reopening in the fall. So we're of course continuing to consider all of our needs for reopening, but we don't have the guidance that we've been told to expect in June, and we don't have the structure for the reopening plan that we've been told would be due in July. So in the meantime, we continue to consult all of the usual sources, including the New York State Department of Health and the CDC. And we follow, so we are preparing to follow those recommendations. We just don't have it structured yet because we're waiting for that structure. That of course includes things like protocols on screening students and staff, hand washing, face masks, cleaning and disinfecting, social distancing, accommodating more vulnerable students and staff, responding to positive cases, communication, monitoring absences, and the kind of consultation that we would need to do with health authorities. So there are many people, myself included, who are eager to see teachers and students back on campus beyond the very small group we'll have this summer. And we just continue to pay attention and to work on that. So that's where that is right now. A fourth piece of news that you all are aware of is the election. You know how the election turned out, and you'll vote to approve those results later on. But I just wanted to make a point here that if this was a unique election, as you know, the first ever absentee only ballot election that any of us are familiar with. You might have wondered along the way, how are we going to do this? How are we going to pull this off? Well, I want to let you know that if you could have been here last night and seen how well organized and thorough and transparent a process was being carried out to make sure that this election and the results are beyond reproach, you would have been very impressed. Every signature was reviewed, every envelope was assessed to be sure it was signed in the appropriate place, every ballot was checked, and then it was double checked. An incredibly thorough process, I think triple checked maybe also. But I do know the expert is behind me who's probably aware of whether it was triple checked, and I think she's nodding, right? So all of that was thanks to a group of people who did a wonderful job. And I would say the taking the lead role in that was your board clerk, Karen Angelopoulos, who did an absolutely wonderful job. She ran it like a pro, and this election could not have been done any better. So thank you very much, Karen, for all you did with this election.
Thank you, Rob.
Thanks, Karen.
You're welcome.
Last thing.
Thank you, Karen.
Thanks.
Last thing, the school year is officially over, although we still have graduation around the corner, so we have a little gap in here. But while we have the gap, this is our last meeting before the end of that, before the formal end of the school year with the graduation ceremony. I just want to take this opportunity to thank the members of the Board of Education for all of your contributions this year. It's been quite a year. It's one for the history books. And, your guidance along the way has been key. Your support along the way has been key. I believe that our students, our teachers, our schools, and our entire district have much to be proud of. It hasn't been perfect. There are some areas that I wish we could have done better. But I do believe that we did, given the circumstances, a very strong job with this unusual situation. And, you're the guiding force of our district. You represent the community, and, the ability to come here and, make sure that, under your oversight, we're doing what needs to be done, I think represents something that's very important. And so I just want to say thank you to our Board of Education for the job you have done, and congratulations on the end of a year, about 2/3 of which was a pretty normal year and was going very well. And then the last third of which was dramatic and absolutely unique. So congratulations and thank you, Board of Education. And that is everything. Any questions or comments for me?
Roger, I've heard Governor Cuomo talk about putting to the task various districts to develop these teams of groups of people that are going to come up with the game plan, so to say, for the fall. Are we going to assemble a local team as well?
Yeah, I think it's going to be multiple teams, and we've already sort of sketched out how that's going to go. A district-wide team that would, provide some of those the consistent elements of the plan across the board, and then school-based teams, and then some that are specializing in areas that we need to specialize in, like transportation.
Okay.
So I've been very hesitant to pull teams together when we don't have the structure we need yet. So again, it's always this hurry up and wait, how it's been for the last 3 months, and we're in that spot right now. But yes, the plan is to pull people together, to have a collaborative process in which we can make it work.
Great, thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is information for the board. You'll find 2 items there. One is the summer law conference, which will be the other is the extracurricular. Any questions on those 2 items? If you are interested in the law course, please let Karen know. Not any questions, we'll move along to capital projects. Lincoln goals with agenda items. I have 2 under leadership. That's the superintendent evaluation and the summer law course. Anything else anyone has? Crickets?
We're good.
Okay. Capital project update. There's an attachment, the contract summary dated June 9th is in your board docs. Any discussion or comments? Roger, Dana, any significant updates you'd like to?
Fuel tank at the middle high school that just got put in today or yesterday, and starting to backfill it today. So that's a nice positive. Roof, if you've driven by, you can see that the roof of the middle high is in full swing as well. So progressing nicely. They're still working on the heating system at the middle high, at the elementary. They're working in the office space as well as the front vestibule. So things are moving along pretty nicely.
Any questions on the capital project?
Have they started work on the auditorium, the ceiling?
Yeah, so the auditorium is the work's well underway, but not in the ceiling yet. So
Okay.
that hasn't.
Just curious to wondering if they're gonna find, what they're gonna find when they start digging.
We know they're going to find it. Yeah.
Change orders. There does not appear to be any change orders. So moving right along. Have the the minutes from the last board meeting, which is consent. And now we'll go into the personnel matters. First up is the superintendent's contract approval. Upon recommendation, motion to approve the attached contract addendum for Superintendent Roger Catania, beginning July 1st, 2020. May I have a motion for the contract, please?
Yes.
Thank you, Colleen. Seconded by Jeff. Any discussion?
Thank you, Roger.
We're glad to have you, Roger.
Thanks.
As said before, more than a 2-year contract was not possible, but we'll press on. So, any questions, comments? If not, I'll call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Aye.
Opposed? Vote is 6-0. The motion passes. Thank you.
We're
Thank
very
you, everybody.
fortunate, Roger, to have you steering our ship.
Thank you, Colleen.
Teaching staff tenure recommendation. Upon recommended action upon the recommendations of the superintendent, Greg Fisher, who holds a permanent certification in pre-K, K, and grades 1 through 6, is hereby granted tenure in the area of elementary education on September 1st, 2020. May I have a motion, please?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, Joan. Seconded by Colleen.
Yes.
Any discussion? If not, I'll call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Positive, 0 against. The motion passes. Second is another tenure recommendation. Upon the recommendation of Superintendent Amy Gotham, who holds a professional certificate in Students with Disability Generalist, grades 7 through 12, is hereby granted tenure in the area of special education on September 1st, 2020. May I have a motion?
Yes.
Did you get that?
Was it down in my Colleen?
I feel like we should be like Jeopardy and have a buzzer that we hit.
Hey, Joan and Colleen. Is that what you-
That's what I put down.
Any comments or questions on Amy Gotham? If not, I'll call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Motion passes 6-0 against. The next tenure recommendation, upon the recommendation of the superintendent, Amy Kramer, who holds a permanent pre-K, K, grade 1 through 6 certification, is hereby granted tenure in the area of elementary education on September 1st, 2020. May I have a motion, please?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Any discussion on Amy Kramer? If not, may I have a vote, please? All in favor?
Yes.
Aye.
Opposed? And I'm going to
Aye.
abstain from this vote, so
You're abstaining?
yes. It's 5-4-0 against, 1 abstention. Motion passes. Upon recommendation of the superintendent, Kristen Hutchins, who holds a professional English language arts degree, 7 through 12 certification, is hereby granted tenure in the area of English on September 1st, 2020. May I have a motion, please?
Yes.
Yes.
Second,
Yes.
any discussion? If not, please vote. All in favor?
Aye.
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 6-4-0 against, the motion passes. Upon the recommendation of the superintendent, Emily, here we go, Kakupka, who holds an initial certification in music, is hereby granted tenure in the area of music on September 1st, 2020. Ms. Kakupka, initial certification expires on January 31st, 2021. May I have a motion, please?
Yes.
Thank you, Colleen.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Joan. Any discussion? If not, may I have a vote, please? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'm going to abstain.
5-4-0 against, and 1 abstention. Next, tenure recommendation. Upon the recommendation of Superintendent Alan Robinson, who holds a permanent certification in art pre-K through 12, is hereby granted tenure in the area of art on September 1st, 2020. May I have a motion, please?
Yes.
Thank you, Jeff. Second,
Yes.
Yes.
Discussion?
Great asset to the school.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Passes 6-0. Last tenure recommendation, upon the recommendation of the superintendent, Kelly O'Reilly Womenti holds a professional certification in students with disabilities 1 through 6 and childhood education 1 through 6. Is hereby granted tenure in the area of special education on September 1st, 2020. May I have a motion, please?
Yes.
Thank you, Joan. Second, Colleen.
Yes.
Thank you. Any discussion? If not, please vote. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Teaching assistant resignation. Upon the recommendation of superintendent, accept the resignation of Tyler Majorca, teaching assistant in the middle and high school effective June 30th, 2020. May I have a motion to accept this resignation?
Yes.
Thank you, Joan. Second.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yep.
Discussion. Questions?
No, she's going on to school, and I think that's great.
We'll miss her. She was a great addition.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Motion passes 6-4-0 against.
Lost you.
Can't hear you.
Tyler, certified in pending in health and physical education, to the position of health and physical education teacher, replacing Mary Ellen Decker in tenured area of health education, effective September 1st, 2020, for a 4-year term tentatively scheduled to conclude on August 31st, 2024, contingent upon her completion of the probationary term and having received composite or overall APPR ratings of either effective or highly effective in at least 3 of the 4 preceding years, and a rating of higher than ineffective at the conclusion of the 2020-21 school year. For the 2020-21 school year, the salary will be $49,619. Step 3, the master's plus 39 of the LPEA negotiated agreement, July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2023. May I have a motion to accept this appointment?
Yes.
Thank you, Colleen.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Joan. Any discussion, questions?
I just want to give a quick shout out to my sister-in-law, Mary Ellen Decker, and just acknowledge and thank her for all the many years of service for the district. I think she's been an amazing teacher and she'll be very much missed. And we'd like to welcome Casey.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Teaching assistant appointment. Upon recommendation of the superintendent, appoint Jacqueline Bouye, initial certification in students with disabilities, grade 1 through 6, to the position of teaching assistant, replacing Taylor Majorca in the tenured area of teaching assistant, the probationary period of 4 years commencing on September 1st, 2020, and anticipated to end on August 31st, 2024. Salary for the 2020-21 school year will be step 4, level 3, $27,474 of the LPEA negotiated agreement, July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2023. May I have a motion for this teaching assistant appointment, please?
Yes.
Aye.
Thank you, Dan. Then I heard Liam. Seconded by Liam. Any discussion? If not, I'll call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We have 6-0, the motion passes. CSEA appointment, upon recommendation of the superintendent, approve the appointment of Jonathan Wright as a 12-month second shift custodian for a 1-year probationary appointment beginning September 1st, 2020 and ending August 31st, 2021. Salary is calculated on the CSEA salary schedule for the 2020-2021 year. The salary will be step 5, second shift custodian at $17.92 per hour. Benefits will be prorated beginning September 1st. May I have a motion for the CSEA appointment?
Yes.
Yes.
Liam, approved, seconded by,
Hold on 1 second.
I'll take it.
I don't know how to correct that. Is it step 1? I thought it was weird, it was step 5. It should be step 1.
Dana, Dana, are you there?
Yep.
What we're discussing is the step. I believe that was step 1, not step 5. Am I right about that?
Correct. I texted Karen saying it should be step 1.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Over there.
The math is right. It's just the step.
Correct. Yes.
Everything else is correct except for the step.
Yes.
Liam and Joan, are you okay with amending to read the salary would be step 1?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Any discussion? If not, may I please have a vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-4-0 against. Under additional action items, recommended action, be it resolved, the Board of Education hereby adopts the following budget results for the 2020-21 school year as shown in the attached sheets. May I have a motion to accept the budget?
Yes.
Yeah.
Jeff, was it Jeff?
That was Jeff, yeah.
Yeah, Jeff and Tony.
Jeff?
I second.
Thank you. Any discussion on the budget? Vote.
Great news for the district. That's all I can say.
Yeah,
I
wonderful.
concur.
Thanks for everyone's hard work. It was a long haul, but. Okay, may I have a vote, please? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, the budget results pass 6-0. CSEA contract approval upon recommendation of the superintendent. Upon recommendation of the superintendent that the Board of Education approve the financing of the contract between the superintendent and the CSEA Local 1000 AFSCME AFL-CIO Lake Placid Central School District Unit 6804 Essex County Local 816 for the period of July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2023. May I have a motion to approve the CSEA contract?
Yes.
Yes.
Colleen and seconded by Joan. Discussion? If not,
Could I just reiterate my comments that I think that it represents a win-win negotiation, and I think really also speaks highly to the kind of relationship that between the board and administration and the union. This was a very collaborative effort, and thank you very much to the members of the negotiating team, Dana, Liam, and Jeff, for participating in this. I think you'd probably agree with me that this was the kind of outcome that we all, I think, were really very happy with.
I
on both
agree
sides.
completely.
thank you all. All in favor of the CSEA contract, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes 6-0. C, the management confidential memorandum of agreement is a consent item. Next is the ORDA agreement. On Recommended action, motion to approve the notice and agreement, Town of North Alva, Lake Placid Central School District.
It's the same one. We don't have an updated one.
Yeah,
What's that?
it never got revised.
Never got revised. Okay,
My apologies.
we will table that. My apologies. So move, the donation acceptance is consent. Budget transfers. Recommended action, whereas monies needed to be transferred to a line account fund balances, whereas transfers greater than $10,000 need approval from the Board of Education. Now, therefore, upon the recommendation of the superintendent, approve the attached budget transfers to align said funds. May I have a motion for this budget transfers, please?
Yes.
Thank you, Dan.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Joan. Discussion?
No.
No.
Group tonight. If not, may I have a vote, please? All in favor?
Aye.
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 4-0 against, the motion passes. Special education is consent, good of the cause. Did anything come in during the meeting?
Check.
Okay, nothing has come in, so we'll enter the adjournment phase. Next meeting location is the board reorganizational meeting, and it's scheduled for July 7th at 6:30. Pose the question of virtual versus in person. I know that the occupancy has gone up to 25, so the concern last time was the fact that if all of us were here, plus all of us were here, then there would be no additional room for guests. So we continue virtual. Any thoughts on returning to live or remaining virtual at least? For the
I
next?
think virtual is working okay.
I prefer the virtual right now.
Okay, appreciate that. Anybody opposed to virtual?
I mean, at some point, I would like to return back to live meetings.
Sure.
Oh, me too. I agree. But I think for now it's working okay. And
Yeah.
the virtual education has worked pretty well. So who knows? But for the foreseeable future, maybe we should just keep things as they are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think we should go back to in person until the school does. Personally.
It's a good idea. I agree with you.
Okay, thank you. So we'll go virtual on July 7th, 2020 for the reorganizational meeting. Old agenda items, we have the dashboard discussion still there. The rest, Karen, I pretty much wiped out. So
Okay,
I
perfect.
think we've met them all. Any new agenda topics? If not, we'll adjourn the meeting. Recommended action is to a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Make that motion.
So moved.
Thank you, Liam. Dan seconds.
Sure.
All in favor?
I.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much and have a great evening, everyone.
Take care, everyone.
Hi, everybody.
Thank you.
Hey, Rick, I have a quick question.
Sure.
It's really hard for me to be quiet here with the dogs and stuff. Would I be able to come in person if it worked out?
Certainly.
Okay. It's difficult with everything that goes on here for me to, I don't have a room where my office is off the kitchen and it's open, so I can't even shut myself in an office.
I don't find it distracting at all, just in case you're
Well,
wondering.
I keep hitting mute, unmute, mute. It's all right. We'll see how it goes, how I feel.
That's perfectly fine.
It's all right, Joe. My dog's been going nuts the entire meeting. That's why I keep muting the mic.
Yeah, same with mine.
All right.
All right, thank you.
Good night, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Good night.
Okay.
Are we staying on?
No.
I think we're doing, Karen would like to postpone that until next week.
Sometime. Not long, couple.
Okay.
Yeah, that sound good?
Um,
All
That's
right.
fine.
It's good to see everybody. Bye, Dan.
Yes.